Good morning, everybody. It's great to be here, and this is such a great conference, I have to say. So far, I know that Jody, she's our parish administrator. Is this echoing? Okay. She's our parish administrator, and she's my counterpart with congregational development for our diocese, the Diocese of Southeast Florida. So we brought along a PowerPoint so you could see, the pictures of our destruction after Hurricane Irma, which occurred in September of 2017. And we just, we're just going to kind of flash through those so that you can have a kind of context of the hurricane. But what I want to talk to you about today, we're going to talk about that, but what I really want to talk to you about today is how could a little church, because we're a tiny church in the middle of nowhere, how could a little church in the middle of nowhere position themselves to respond to a disaster that we didn't plan? And so I've been the priest at St. Columba since 2007. And I was basically sent to St. Columba, which is located in the Florida Keys, in the middle of the Florida Keys. So if you've ever flown into Key West, you'll know that the city of Marathon is about 50 miles up the road. And if you know anything about the Keys, it's an island chain that's kind of spread 160 miles from Homestead all the way down to the 0 mile marker. So that's a little bit about where we are. So in 2007, our bishop at the time, Bishop Friday, said, Debra, I really like you. You're really nice, and I know you want to live in the Florida Keys, but the parish that I have available for you in the Florida Keys is St. Columba, and I think that parish is going to close. And then what are you going to do? You're going to be down there in the middle of nowhere, and what's going to happen? So the AWA for St. Columba in 2006 was 32. And if we had left things as business as usual, and if I had gone to St. Columba and kept that mindset, our AWA would be 3 now, and that would be counting me. And so we could have watched the parish go through a nice slow decline. We have a small endowment. We could have treaded water, and we have a beautiful piece of property, even though we did have that hurricane. But I was fortunate to come into a place that saw the cliff and didn't want to go over it. And so together, our vestry, the people in the parish, all 32 of the people in the parish, and that was the high number. Because if you live in, I don't know if you have this in Louisiana, but we have snowbirds in Florida. And so 3/4 of my parish is a winter population. 1/4 is the summer. So in the summertime, our AWA was 13. And I thought, I'm too energetic for this. I can't go through the summer with 2,000 or with 13 people in the parish. But we had a core group of people, about 6 or 7 people, half the parish, that decided, you know what, we want to change the way that we are in this community. We don't know what we want to do, but we want to change who we are in this community. And so St. Columba was given a really nice piece of property back in the, I guess it must have been the 50s or the 60s. And like so many Episcopal churches, we don't want to be on the highway, of course, where people can see us. No, we're going to pick the piece of property back in the neighborhood, back in the side road. And so the DOT in Florida conveniently made it illegal for anyone to put signs on the highway. So not only was St. Columba a parish that was not located on the highway, we had no sign on the highway either. And no one talked about us because when you only have 13 people, 32 people, there's not a lot going on. So what happened to us? We had a little group of people, and we decided, well, what are the gifts of this parish? I don't know how we thought about that, but we did. what are the gifts of the parish? We thought, well, you know what? This parish has the possibility, and we're an island, so we use a lot of island talk. Like, we really like Eucharistic Prayer C because it says our island home. And so we think that prayer is talking about us. And so we thought, well, who are we? Well, we're a safe harbor. We're a safe harbor for people to come into into the place, even though they're not coming now. We are a safe harbor. We are a safe harbor, and then we can help people to rejuvenate and rework themselves and rethink about who they are and be in relationship and be in community and then go out. And so we did that. And so we did that, and we worked, and we networked, and we got to know our community, and we opened our doors. And, we have things like Tai Chi 4 times a week. We have the Books and Coffee program for our community every Thursday, even though we have to put the chairs out, and it's a pain. But we're happy that everyone comes. If the Department of Health for the county wants to meet in the middle of the Keys, they come to St. Columba because they know we're going to provide a space for them. So we became that kind of safe harbor for people to come in, get refreshed, and then go out and do, the work that they've been given to do. And so we were responsive to that. And just by the way, so we went from having 13 people in the summer to having 50 people in the summer, which if you're from a really big church, I know 50, it sounds like if I only had 50 people at my church, I would be really worried. But for people that are in small churches, 50 is a lot in the summertime. And so in the wintertime, and I really wish we could do AWA in the winter and AWA in the summer. It hardly seems fair, really. And so we have, in the wintertime, we'll go between like 90 and then 130, and if we have 130, it's exciting for us to do that. But here's what we did. Somewhere in the midst of working with the community, and we had this epiphany of, what, our parish is not just our little beautiful grounds at our church. Our parish is our community. Our parish, and in Louisiana, that's the perfect thing because you call everything a parish down here, but the city of Marathon is our parish, and we operate only from that perspective. And so we never say to ourselves, oh, we want to do this project, but we're only going to ask the people in the church to do it. We're going to ask the people in the pews. Oh, no. Oh, no. If you're in the city of Marathon, you're in our parish, and we're going to make sure that you're invited to participate with us in some way, somehow, because we had the first idea was we're a safe harbor to come in and go out. And then the second idea is since COT so conveniently wouldn't allow us to have a sign, even though we do have an illegal sign that we put up in the middle of the night. And no one says anything about it. I mean, what are you going to do, really, right? And it's attached to a phone pole, and it does the trick. But we thought, well, you know what? We can't really have the sign that we know we deserve. The beautiful sign. We don't have one of those. So guess what? We have to be the sign. So when we go to Publix grocery store or out on the highway or anywhere in the in our work, we know we have to be the sign of the light of Christ. And so even to the person that cuts you off in the grocery store, guess what? You're the sign. And I have to say, as clergy, I'm not wearing my collar today, but as clergy, we have an unfair advantage because when we go to the grocery store and we have our collars on, and people are really nice to you when you're wearing a collar. Let me tell you that. They are. People are smiling at you, and they want to engage you, and they're generally nice, and they want to tell you stuff, and you know why? Because people are looking for people to be a sign of the light of Christ. And when you're wearing that collar, you're giving people permission to engage you on that level. And so I remind my parish, guess what? You're the sign. You're the sign of the light of Christ in the world. And so we continue to engage. And so you know, we were going along. We established an after-school program called the Hammock House. We had no kids, you know, we had no kids, but we were able to kind of finagle and put together a little amount of money. We bought a house that was right on the edge of the property of our church. We bought a house. We started an after-school program, and did I tell you the after-school program was free? Totally free, because if you've been down to the Florida Keys, you probably think everyone that lives there is rich. You know, it's a pretty nice place. 78% of the children in the Florida Keys are on free or reduced lunch. So we are a living history of the haves and have-nots in this country. Because in our population, we have people that come in and we're really, come on down. You know, we're a hospitable area. But we are a workers' economy. We are a hospitality economy. And so people aren't paid well in that economy. And if something happens, like in 2009, we had that was terrible down there. It was very, very scary. But so you can't afford, if you have a child and you have to work after, you know, and you're working because you don't get to stop working at 2:30 because your child has to get out of school, you know, it costs $100 a week for an after-school program. Well, I was a single parent for many years, for 10 years, and I know how hard that is. And so we said, no, we're going to have a really good after-school program. We're going to do everything. It's not going to be the poor kids after-school program. It's going to be an amazing after-school program. We're going to go on field trips. We're going to have really good food. We're going to have great arts and crafts. And so we've had that program now for like 9 years. And so we have a 9-year after-school program, and we also have a free summer camp also. And so and that's terrifying, because our after-school program is not that big, you know, but you know, we have a 60-kid free summer camp program. So what does that have to do with anything? We started the Florida Keys Celtic Festival because St. Columba, if you know, is the Celtic saint, just celebrated his birthday on June 9th, and he's also an island guy, and that Celtic Festival funds, in addition to grants, funds our Hammock House program. And so that festival, though, is situated in the community park in the middle of the city of Marathon, which now we're going into our 6th year, right? 6th year. So Jody's there. She keeps me honest, because I'm not good at numbers, and she's the brains of the operation, really. And so we have between 3,000 and 7,000 people visit our Celtic Festival every year. Every year, before the Celtic Festival, right down the middle of our city, we have our Florida Keys Celtic Festival banners. We have bands from Ireland, from Scotland. We have people coming from all over the United States to this festival. And guess what? We have Compline in the field with all of these people, and the bands introduce us. These international bands introduce Compline. And everyone turns around, and it's super cool, and the lights come on, and then we have Eucharist the next day in the middle of the city park with people from all over the United States and coming to participate in Eucharist. And so we network through the community. We try to network through the United States to help to support our program, the Hammock House, and still have lots of fun and, you know, celebrate the heritage of our St. Columba. And so we were uniquely situated to respond to the hurricane. Now, we happened to be on pilgrimage in Ireland when the hurricane hit. We were, and so because we were looking at it, and down here in Louisiana, you know what that's like. You're kind of watching it. You know, you're watching it, it's coming off of Africa. Is it going to hit? Isn't it going to hit? And it's always headed to the Florida Keys no matter what. You'll notice that now. It's always going to get us. And so we thought, no, it's going to go to Miami. It's going to go to Miami, and we're going to be safe. But no, it hit us. it hit us. And we were in Ireland. But before it hit us, one of the dads that had the kids in the hammock house, a single dad, who lived on a boat with his children, part of the workforce, not doing so hot, didn't have a car that could evacuate, called me up. He lived on a boat, which in the Keys, living on a boat for workforce housing is normal. He said, you know what, I can't evacuate. We had just bought a new building to make our hammock house program larger. He said, you know, I know that you have that new building. Could I come there with my kids? And so we said, yes, of course. And so, he evacuated, and while he was evacuating, all other people in the harbor came to ask him, where are you going? He said, I'm going to St. Columba. So he asked me, could I bring 18 of my friends? I said, yes, of course. And so there it started. 100% of the buildings in our area were damaged by the hurricane. People were homeless. I mean, houses were gone, just washed into the ocean. I mean, people have seen the pictures on the news of what happens, and we experienced that, and we lived that, and so we thought, what are we going to do? How are we going to live? Because our community is destroyed. And so we started getting offers of help from around the United States and from our parish and from different people. Episcopal Relief and Development played a large part in helping us. Trinity Wall Street called us out of the blue. I thought it was a joke. I did. We started laughing and offered us resources, and we started renting and purchasing and borrowing RV trailers to help our community. And so I think we ended up with 25 RV trailers, and we cycled people through the trailers as they were able to situate themselves. Then we were able to put another family into the trailers, but we knew it was a temporary situation. And so we knew June 1st was going to roll around, and June 1st brings another hurricane season. And so we thought, what are we going to do? And we started looking around for, that's our parking lot at the church, by the way. And we had our own electric power system, all permitted by the city. We ended up with our own power system. We did our own sewer system. You don't learn those things in seminary, let me tell you. But we did all of these things so that we could help our people. And God brought the people that could help us to do those things because guess what? The city of Marathon is our parish. And we were connected and we built trust and relationship, not because it was transactional, but because it was relational. And so we thought, what are we going to do to help people in the future? And we started looking around for property to purchase, and we ended up buying, also with the help of Episcopal Relief and Development, we ended up buying an apartment complex that had been condemned in 2014. And this took a lot of work and a lot of detail, and I don't know that much about it. But I had people, God brought people around me, developers and architects and general contractors and financial people, so that we could put together a package and work within the politics of Monroe County and the city of Marathon to be able to purchase an apartment complex that we are currently renovating right now as we're talking. People are there working on our building. It's going to be done in September. And it's going to be able to provide affordable workforce housing to the people in our community that is not terrible workforce housing. It's really nice. It's someplace where people can be proud of living. And you know what? We're going to do it again. Because we've already had offers. We've already had offers, just like what you did. You know, we're not even 2 years into this project, but when people see something that gives your community hope, that's what people are looking for, the light of Christ in the world. And that's what we try to be here at St. Columba with the help of our great partnerships from all over the United States. But thank you.